Welcome to the Legged Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
Massive thanks again to Social Scousers and to Monterex. Don't forget, you can get 15% off. Is it 15% off?
Yeah. Using code LEGGED.
Get on it. The link is below to their website. Check them out on Instagram. Massive thanks again. Have you... Have you been started to become a little bit more patriotic yet, or are you still very much...
I'm hungover, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night was my worst, you know. I flew out the whole thing, because I think it's the false hope of Denmark scoring. But
what a goal it was, by the way.
Mate, great strike. But, you know, as I said last week, a lot of it's joking, but, you know, we've got to probably give England credit soon. The players and the manager, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm cheating on you a bit here, mate, because I'm starting to get a little bit like...
Is that why you were changing your top before? Going in England
No,
top?
I'm not going full England bandwagon, but I am happy for the players.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I don't want them to win the tournament, but like genuinely, I am. You know, they've proved me wrong. They've actually played really well as the tournament's progressed. You know, stats tell you that. Southgate has obviously got it right when a lot of people thought he was getting it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you do have to take the sort of the emotion and the banter and stuff out of it, and just say they've had a really good tournament, really.
I think they've done a stat yesterday in extra time. They put together, I think, 50 odd passes, which was the most in the tournament.
I think I vaguely remember that sequence. But I mean, you know, Kane's come alive at the right time. Sterling being brilliant, probably best player throughout the tournament. Two lads in midfield have played well. Maguire's come in and done well, but it's like, yeah, I mean, emotionally, I don't want them to win it, but you know, you've got to give them credit.
The only thing I would say, which is, I think maybe people will look at it as a bit of a, if they do win it, I don't know, but how many games it's been. I should really have looked at the stats, but every game seems to have been at Wembley.
Yeah. Oh, there's that old like chestnut. There's always be something. It's like yesterday. You know, I'm going to rant here, but like, you know, the pen. Like, Kasper Schmeichel probably should hold it or push it around the post, but it falls right back out to Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? But you know, you make your own look, don't you? And you know, I hope they do go back for future tournaments to doing like a host nation or whatever it is, rather than this like dotted round.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to look at the miles travelled by some countries, and some countries who haven't played in front of their own fans and stuff, and it surely it is an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it is, especially last night. I mean, I know there was a couple of Danes in there, but you know, it was a hugely, you know, England crowd. But you know, Denmark played really well. I think they've had a great tournament considering what happened. But you know, England were the better team last night.
That's arguably their best player. You know, they've missed, and through such horrific, you know, scenes. You know, them seeing him having a cardiac arrest on the pitch.
I reckon it's one of them with, like, they'll probably be exhausted today, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
just physically, emotionally, like, because usually when you're in that, like, sort of bubble, it's like, let's do this for Christian, let's do it for the country and that, and then once that wears off, I imagine them players are going to need, like, a serious all, especially, like, you know, the leaders in their group, you know, like the likes of Schmeichel and stuff like that, Højbjerg.
The manager as well.
Yeah. It's tough to deal with that.
It's a lot of pressure anyway for a big tournament. You know, the whole eyes of your country are on you, and then having to go through that as well. So yeah, I thought he'd done really well. Yeah,
I think obviously, just obviously to go back to it, I think Southgate's got spot on, hasn't he? Yeah. And I criticised him. There's loads of after timers now saying like, Southgate, what a manager, he's done everything. Yeah. But most people before this tournament were saying, oh, he's a bit cautious to be this, but he's just played it perfectly. Fair play to him.
No, they've done really well. Like I say, I'm not jumping on the England bandwagon, but I am happy for him.
Yeah, players, manager, I'm more like...
Only because you see how much it does mean to them, do you know what I mean? And
I mean, you know, I've seen something today about, like, the sort of the areas where, like, you know, the likes of Sterling and, like, Reece James and all these, Calvin Phillips, where they've come from. So, you know, I've got no doubt that the actual England players are probably a good group of lads. So I reckon Southgate's probably a nice fella, but... Just the fans. even now, like, I can't watch the videos. The fans just dragging, saying, I can't do it.
Do you think they will go all the way?
No. Yeah, well, I wouldn't bet against them, put it that way. I mean, I'm away this weekend, but I'm travelling back home Sunday. But I'm not going to bet on the game. I'm going to not watch it either. Well, yeah, I hope I'm just really hungover so I can just sleep.
I think, well, you said it last night, Italy, that Spain game, it took a lot out of them. Yeah. The fact that England had to go through extra time as well.
Still gets the pens, because you've seen Italy's pens.
Yeah.
That one that won the game the other night, Jorginho. I know he's done it a lot. That is ridiculous.
How cool do you have to be to...
I thought Thiago's was good. Like, he done a similar thing. He sort of stopped, let the goalie whipped it in.
You need balls of steel to do something
it's
like
like
that.
revolutionising the way a pen's being taken, though, because the goalie, like, I know this is an old saying, wait for the goalie to move, but he literally, like, makes the goalie go with that hop. Because you've seen the goalie, he's basically walking back to the halfway line, give up on it.
I mean, but even though, I get what you're saying, but after that hop and he's moved, it's then quickly... It's fucking so hard to then quickly
rolls
change.
it in, by the way. Like, P rolls it right to the corner.
I'd end up like still hitting it the same way and just rolling it to the keeper.
So, you know. Well, yeah, to do it at that stage as well. So like doing it with your mates on a Sunday league pitch, or, you know, chipping one down the middle or something. But to do that...
Arguably the biggest kick of the ball he'll ever do in his career.
By far.
Potentially, and it's... Yeah.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like, wherever Jorginho goes in his career, every Italian person will go, you did that pen, didn't you? Do you know what I mean? No matter what he does in his career. But I think Italy, for me... Italy, you know, it's the two right teams in the final. I wouldn't have predicted it, but, you know, I think...
We actually did speak about the forecast was 7-1.
Yeah.
Italy to beat England.
I think, yeah.
That was from the group stages, I think.
I think that, 7-1. Yeah, I'd probably make England favourite going into the game just with the home advantage and all that stuff. But I just can't see it being anything other than a close game. I can see it going all the way, to be honest. Pens.
I hope it does, just for the entertainment value.
Yeah. A few more beers, innit?
Yeah, no, so it's...
good luck, England.
Yeah, good luck, Southgate and the boys.
Yeah, not the fans, though.
Right, on the keeping on the football, Copa America.
Oh, yeah.
Argentina, Brazil, the final.
1 o'clock in the morning at this.
Is it?
I think it's Saturday.
It's this weekend, I'm not sure the timings of it. That's just like a proper... Like a proper legendary game of football.
I was reading something like they haven't... Like, it's not been a long time, but like a little bit of an extended period since they met in like a big final or something.
Well, yeah, it's the kind of what you want, isn't it? Like, you know, a big...
Did you see the penalty shootout? The lad from... Is he at Villa now? He's at Arsenal, wasn't he? The goalie. Seen him where he's like someone's... I don't know if there's a mic or something, but the way he's talking to
he's just talking non-stop to them.
He's saying, I know where you're going. He's like, you're nervous, aren't you?
Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, like Yerry Mina's like laughing. He's saying, you're laughing, but you're nervous. I can see it.
Well, apparently, Yerry Mina was dancing us loads in the quarter-final of the sun. And did you see Messi?
Yeah, and they're quite... apparently they're quite pally, them two, as well.
I didn't look like it.
No, I didn't, because I was thinking... But apparently, like... it was only something I seen on Twitter, because he played for Barcelona, didn't he?
Yerry Mina did?
Yeah. So then when he signed, Messi was like the one who like welcomed him, and like there's loads of pictures of them like together.
Well,
and then he didn't look like his mate, did he?
Well, I've never seen Messi that like riled up like that. And obviously someone was translating, and he's going like, "Go on, dance now, go on, start dancing now."
The goalie, to go back, like the goalie was doing the exact... It must be something that they've like not worked on, but you know what I mean, like let's get in the red.
Those South American nations all seem to hate each other. I might be wrong in that, but there seems to be a lot of tension between all the different countries, and it was quite good to see Messi like that. I read an article saying like,
got it, like, and he's still got the competitive edge, like.
Argentine people have kind of been wanting to see that side of Messi for a long time.
Because he's quite like a sort of...
Seems quite reserved.
I mean, even when that kid ran out at Liverpool, flipping him the bird and that, he just brushed it off, didn't he? But he's never really... I mean, I guess he's used to it, but, talking about patriotism, like, over there, it's different, isn't it?
That's what I mean, yeah. I think he's right up for this, and it's probably the one thing, not that anyone would be crazy enough to have a go at Messi, but one thing you could say that differs him and Ronaldo was Ronaldo was at least won the Euros, and he with Portugal.
I think for him now it's just sort of like he's done so much, he's just got to tick little tiny things off. For him, this is probably huge for him. I know it's probably, in the grand scheme of his career, when he sits down in 10 years and he's got these Ballon d'Ors, La Ligas, all this stuff, the Copa America medal might be cast off the wayside a little bit, but for him it's probably a massive thing. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I can't go out without it.
I think he just feels the weight, doesn't he, of the whole country on his shoulders a little bit.
He's ridiculous as well. I know it's the easiest thing. See that little chip, I don't know what round it was, scooping it and...
For the assist. So
he's been doing it so consistent, like, but I know both of them, they're freaks, aren't they? But to be that consistent is daft.
Yeah, no, it is. I think that's the true thing to greatness, and I know we're going to touch on the tennis now, but I think it's the longevity, that's what makes, because everyone can have a worldie, I could go to the park now and score a fucking 40-yard free kick in the top bin when my little girl's in goal.
Get in.
Everyone's got those moments in them, or a lot of people have, But it's when you're doing it week in, week out, that's what...
And it's that level as well. It's all like being like... So say if you've got a Sunday League team or a semi-pro team and you're the best player and you're delivering it, but to doing it against the best players in the world and making them look stupid half the time.
Yeah,
and
it's unreal.
As you say, anyone can have ability and anyone can reach a level based on ability, but consistency is what sets you apart in life, but sport mainly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And Alisson's not even getting his game, is he?
No. Is it Ederson or is it
Edison,
different?
I think, yeah.
It's like it's a bit like Spain though, isn't it? I don't even know the goal, Spain's goal. I've never even heard of them. No. But they've got like De Gea and I forget who the other person is on the bench, but like goalies who've been about.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to call it. A bit like the Euro final. I wouldn't have a clue. I think both tight games.
Yeah.
It's good. The boss for footy though.
Boss for international footy, because I say like, I'm probably I am a person who just dismisses international footy a bit, but any footy fan, if you're watching, Argentina, Brazil, or even England, Italy, you can't not enjoy it, can you? Do you know what I mean? You can't not be intrigued by the game. I reckon there'll be two barnstormers.
Both games under 1.5, under 2.5, I'd say.
Both games 0-0 now, we picked it up.
yeah, tune in and watch them. 2-0 in store. So yeah, it's a good weekend of footy.
Yeah.
What else have we got coming up this weekend? It's the boss weekend of sport, to be fair,
it's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, I know, we're going to go on a bit of an extended one on the old McGregor and stuff, but the tennis was sort of kicking off on it. Obviously, Murray put together a few good games, obviously not fit enough or maybe at the level he once was, but, as recent as yesterday, Federer.
He's quite... I'm gonna sound fucking so horrible here, but does me head in Murray a bit the way he cries all the time.
I think there's emotion.
And I'm all for men showing an emotion and all that.
You just got a cold heart, aren't you?
A little bit, like, it's just like, listen mate, I am a big baby, I cry all the time. You know what I mean? I cry quite a lot. I'm quite an emotional fellow, believe it or not, but I don't know, Murray, I feel like going, lad, come on.
It's only Wimbledon.
Do you not think though he seems to cry a lot?
I think there's like, well, I don't know, I do like Murray, but the reason I like him is I think
I like some of the stuff I like
think
everything
he plays
about
a character. Like, do you know the boring thing that got tagged on him when he was younger? I think he plays up to it and I respect it. So like he'll play a boring role, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like apparently, I've heard stories and stuff that he's a good laugh and that, but yeah.
I've had a bevy with his ma. That's my claim to fame.
What?
Honestly, went to Wimbledon one year.
You and Judy Murray just right on it.
Judy and the one who she had a dance partner on Strictly Come Dancing.
Anton Quebec, that's the only dancer I know.
Maybe, yeah.
He's a judge, I think.
Is he? I don't know, it's one of her mates off that. And got to go to Wimbledon with the Invictus Games, a lot it was, and I was there drinking Pimm's with Judy Murray.
Yeah, boss story that.
It was a belter.
I'll be whipping that out all the time.
But she's lovely here as well.
I mean, yeah, Andy, like, obviously probably been unlucky the area he's been in. Because he's head and shoulders the best Scottish player ever, but because he's decent, Britain claim him, don't they?
Yeah, he's English when he wins and he's Scottish when he loses.
Yeah, but
I think what you're going to go on to say, the point you're going to make, you're going to say now, but before that, I think how frustrating must it be to be injury prone, like he has been.
Ridiculous.
And to know that you're already facing, in, like you say, the wrong generation he's in, because he's just come up against the likes of Federer, Djokovic, Nadal. But to know that you're just so injury prone, I mean, there's
a boss documentary on him on Amazon, don't you seen it?
No.
They followed him when he had his major hip surgery, and like it's like a steel ball that they literally, you see it, the whole thing, they like insert it into his hip, and it just looks disgusting. They're shaving away bones, snapping bones, and to be injury prone must be so frustrating for him, but to have that drive to say, right, I'm going to do that, then I'm going to set myself up for 6 months of rehab just to maybe get back to where I was.
Yeah.
When you're financially secure, and you've got a family, you've got a wife, you never has to work again, probably get gigs doing whatever he wants to do. But to still have that, we're talking about Messi and Ronaldo and like the consistency, they're just a different breed, aren't they? And he's not the best player in the world. He was always 3 or 4. I think he got to number 1 a couple of times. But as he come up against some of the best players that have ever lived, and still grafting away at it.
Yeah, it's just that mindset, isn't it? That very few have got. But like you say, mate, the generation he's been in, how unlucky.
I know. I mean, I guess I don't know. Wonder if he'd look at it unlucky, or whether he'd be like, how lucky was I to play against once he's retired. But obviously, if they weren't there, he'd have probably won back-to-back Grand Slams.
That's a great point. Actually, I wonder what he'd feel like, though, if, let's say, he might have won a few more titles, but then people would go, yeah, but you wouldn't have won them if they were there.
You're only playing Tim Emmon.
Yeah.
Just battering Tim Emmon every week.
But I think that's what's great about sport, isn't it? I mean, those rivalries are what make sport, aren't they? Because you need a dance partner.
He probably would have got, like, if he wasn't in the series, how do you reckon you would have got on against Federer? Or how do you reckon you would have got on against Nadal? Yeah. Not like, oh, you're a boss, you, do you know what I mean?
Now he knows he got spanked by them.
Yeah. Say, shut up, stop asking me. But he's been an incredible player, but, you know, I say Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, they've all needed each other just as much as...
Yeah, 100%. So Federer was beat in straight sets and didn't kind of say he was retiring, but kind of hints that might have been his last Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's sad to see, innit? A Rolls Royce of a man like that as well. Like,
who's your favourite out of Nadal, Djokovic? Yeah, same.
Just because I love athletes that make it look easy.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, obviously Nadal, Djokovic, incredible, but they're sweating, they're like sliding on one leg, and like he's just going,
He was just so
like Berbatov.
Yeah, it's like that lazy look, isn't it?
But like you just get labelled lazy, but it's so hard to do.
Yeah, and I prefer him for the same reason. Nadal, you just see that massive forearm he's got, and he's like running fast as fuck, and Djokovic, you know, dead tall and powerful. And Federer's just this, you know, chill guy from Switzerland who just looks like he's just fucking rolled out of bed and
I reckon the best thing
in
is
his mouth.
Nadal and all them, they'll stay in proper shape. I reckon Federer will go proper fat, you know what I mean? Just living life.
How amazing would that be? Though? You just see him in Liverpool walking down, sitting on cast with a ciggy and a pint.
Do you know what I mean? I just think he's one of them fellas, but you know, he's the other great thing about him, and you know, you probably couldn't angle this at Djokovic, Nadal and Murray either, but never really wanted to be the star of the show. Like, you know, you could probably count on two fingers the amount of bad stories that have been written about him in the past. Just a proper, like, comes across as a decent fella, is unbelievable at his trade, you know, and just to see him go out, you know, I think the papers put a picture out, he's like lay on the floor, you know, clutching for his racket, and you just think, time gets every fucker on it.
It's sad, isn't it, mate? It's like, it's that thing though, mate. I don't know what the right answer is. It's like your famous fighter, your famous boxer. I mean, do you want, like, do you retire a little bit beforehand on the top, or do you keep on going?
More. Yeah, I think with them, especially Federer, I reckon he would. That's why he said, you know, I'm probably not retiring, but it'll be my last Wimbledon. I don't think he'd go out, you know, and if he's still playing in Wimbledon in 3 years and some up and coming kids like, I hope I get Federer. Do you know what I mean? Boost my tournament. He's never going to become that. Do you know what I mean?
You almost become like a journeyman a little bit then, don't you?
It becomes a scalp, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like when they stay around and think, you know, if I get him, at least I can say I beat Roger Federer, me.
How hard though would it be though to be number one, to win, and then say, right, I'm retiring? People will be like, you can't retire, you've just won. But
must be so hard to let go as well, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think Carragher done it at the perfect time.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
people were still saying, give him a year and that, wasn't it? Give him a year, give him 2 or whatever, but
to go out on the top, at the top is so difficult, and it's sad, like say, I think.
It sticks around with you as well, like in boxing, Roy Jones Jr., he either retired when he fought John Ruiz, he'd be still labelled now as the greatest, most talented boxer to ever live. But then he carried on, and then in 2015 or something, so his Pomp's like 1990 odd, he's getting knocked out in the middle of Russia by Enzo Maccarinelli. Then he's, you know, I think he raffled a place off to fight him to a fan. And like he's just doing it, and then so everyone remembers him for that. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I know it's brilliant to have hindsight, and it's probably brilliant that we'll never be in that position. But for me, you got to leave the crowd wanting a bit more, haven't you? Like everyone wants to see Federer again, but if he calls time, it's on his terms. Yeah, and he goes, right, you know, you've had me now. Like, I'm off to Swiss hills.
So Djokovic is in the final, but again, you talk about those big names. He's the semi-final at the moment. Djokovic obviously ranked number 1.
It's the 10 seed, isn't it?
Against Shapovalov. I can't even say his name.
Shapovalov.
Anyway, he's ranked number 10. And then the other semi-final is Berrettini and Herkes, is it? 7th and 14th respectively. I mean, he's not even in the final. We're talking like he's going to win. He's got to get through this lad, but you'd imagine him to win.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, isn't it weird how, like, you just assume Djokovic is going to be in every final?
Yeah.
He's just like, he'd be in the final. I'd just be that good. That's something that everyone just assumes you're going to win.
Well, he's on for the Grand Slam, isn't he? I think he won a couple the tournaments already. So yeah, that's I do love Wimbledon. I've not watched as much of it.
No, me either.
This year, but I love tennis, man. You know,
Yeah.
I genuinely
It's brilliant to watch.
One of my bucket list goal things is to go to watch. I'd love to watch the US Open.
Oh yeah. I'd love to do that.
It's on clay, that isn't it?
Yeah.
I just got to picture that, like, you know, blue tennis court indoors and.
Yeah, I think you know, like the way it goes on like the tour, like it's just so good, isn't it? Like imagine being a tennis player.
Yeah.
The mad thing about tennis to get to the top 15 is so hard, and you're like, oh, he's only ranked 14. Do you know what I mean?
But I think, mate, I think if I was going to get me children, well, I've only got one, me little girl, into any sport, it'd be tennis or golf. Yeah. Because you don't fucking play in the rain, do you?
Fair weather. Fair weather, dad.
You just follow the sun everywhere.
My little lad now is 3, and he's obsessed with footy. Like, he blanked it for ages, but now he's starting to take it up off his own back. And sort of as a dad, you're like, like, getting passes, and then I'm starting to, like, think about it now, do you know what I mean? Like, when you wake up on a Sunday morning, you got to do, like, the -6.
Coat on, umbrella,
Well, yeah, it's, a little fair weather game will do me. Or indoors, netball or something. A little coffee.
Anything where the rain doesn't affect you, mate.
Yeah. We're getting old, us.
So yeah, hopefully that'll be at I'm not sure what day is the finals. Is Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday, I think. Well, I don't know with the old England in the finals.
Yeah. Like, you could have. We'll go on to it in a minute, but you could wake up Sunday morning. You could probably watch the highlights of the McGregor. Then you've got Wimbledon at, say, what, 2 o'clock? I'm guessing. Then you've got the Euros, and you've got Copa America.
I think Copa America's Saturday night, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
I think so. So it's like...
I was just doing all night.
Just get up at 1 a.m, watch Copa America.
Then McGregor.
Yeah.
It's about it. So
you better have some strong coffee.
I know. I need to start to drink coffee and start drinking it. So that's boss to look forward to. Can't wait for that. Just other little news points, mate, before we get on to the big one.
Ramos has gone, hasn't he? PSG.
I've seen that.
2 years.
Hey, they're my bet for the Champions League already, then.
PSG?
Yeah. Wijnaldum. Yeah. If they keep hold of Mbappe as well, because there's talk. Oh my God, so funny. Got in a taxi the other day, right? And this fucking taxi driver goes, "Looks like we're getting Mbappe, doesn't it?" And I went, "Who?" He went, "You're red, aren't you?" I went, yeah. He went, "Yeah, looks like Liverpool are getting him." I went, "What?" He went, "Yeah, looks like Liverpool are getting Mbappe." I went, I was like, "Are you taking the piss?" And he said, "No, we had 150 million. Looks like we're getting him." I was like, "Lad, all right, yeah, hopefully." Yeah. I couldn't even be arsed arguing with him.
I seen we got linked to that lad from Atletico Madrid, Sol Niguez or whatever his name is, the midfielder. He's a good player. Obviously a little bit of a left field one, but we just need to sign someone.
I've not heard any rumours. No. Well, that taxi driver and Mbappe is the first transfer rumour.
Must have picked them up.
I was just like, what are you on about anyway? Yeah, so I fancy PSG. Wijnaldum, I think, is going to make such a difference to that team. They've got a winner there like Ramos, who's just, you know, fucking hell, he'd win anything in. Like, you know, you play a game of pitch and toss with him, mate, and he'd be strangling you to win, wouldn't he?
Really would. Yeah, it's a good shout. Obviously, what odds are they? They're always at the top.
I don't know. I'm going to have a little anti-post bet on them, though, but I think, so he's went. I've seen as well that the state of emergency is being declared in Tokyo throughout the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know whether that's a precaution or what, but they've just said, basically,
it's to limit the, obviously, anyone being sort of within the village or, like, just mixing and stuff. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's so sad because this is possibly the worst Olympics, I think, to go to, because the rumours you hear about every Olympics is that athletes' village is just a shagging fucking village, isn't it? When you think about it, you've got all the fittest, you know, aesthetically pleasing bodies in the world of sport. Loads of testosterone, loads of bloody, and you throw them all in there. The shagging that must go on in that Olympic village.
Must be absolutely lethal. Yeah. Everyone's just wearing a mask now.
I know.
These wasn't a mask I was expecting. But it just, I agree, worst Olympics to go to, but
I mean, anyone who's going to the Olympics is just incredibly proud, but
at least, I don't know, it's one of them, you're not really getting, as you say, to be very proud if you're an Olympian, because, you know, take that to your grave with you, but you don't really get any experience though, are you? Do you know what I mean? To be in the crowds that go, I love the Olympics. I watch anything in the Olympics.
Yeah, same.
And, like, obviously, you know, you're going to get the viewers. I'm sure they're going to have people in the stands somewhat, but it's like you're just not getting the exposure. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Great Britain, they got a really good to take it back to boxing constantly, but they got a good boxing. They could get a serious haul of medals, like hopefully.
Did you see on the Olympic show, mate, that girl who's been banned for smoking weed?
Oh yeah, the sprinter.
Yeah,
name. That's mad.
So I watched her qualifying race, 100 metres. She smashed it. It was a really emotional interview she done after it. Her mum had just passed away, and she had like a foster mum or a stepmom or someone in the crowd, and but yeah, her biological mum had just passed away, and it's a really you could just tell she's like from the street, like she's like from you know the bootle of fucking America, do you know what I mean? Like she's from like, fucking, you can tell she's had a hard upbringing, and it meant so much to her. She's got there, done it, and she smoked a bit of weed and now got banned. Do
you know what I don't get is how can weed performance enhance it? Performance dehances. That's even a word, you know what I mean? Like it's not going to make you a better sprinter.
I seen like there's some great. I mean, making a joke about it, but obviously it's very it's hard for her. But people will go and they should be fucking giving her fucking an extra medal, like for not stopping for a scrap.
Serious. Or getting up for training.
Yeah, I mean,
interestingly on that point, I see today or yesterday, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they have now said weed's okay. And there's a couple of other commissions in terms of combat sport that have taken the same stance. So
if you do a drug test and there's weed in your system,
okay. I mean, I think there's certain
levels,
points and stuff, but if
you're getting your drug test while smoking a spliff, not quite there. Yeah.
I think Nate Diaz does it at the press conference and everything, but I think a couple of them, especially in combat sports, they're coming around to the fact that
you know the thing. I'm like, again, we've had like Dr. Grace Robinson, we've had Neil Woods on talking about drugs and stuff. I'm for like legalising certain drugs and stuff like that. I think like coke is a hard one to do, but I think the likes of like heroin to stop people off the streets and to have doctors administer it and stuff like that, and the whole drug thing's a podcast on its own, like we've done. But the weed thing, what fascinates me most about weed is how like that Diaz can function when smoking it. Like fair play to him smoking it, and again but I'm more impressed at how he functions.
Yeah, probably because he's not getting off someone like Scotty Road. Probably getting some like top grade stuff, but it does baffle me a bit. Like, but do you know the interesting? I'd just
be fascinated at watching him going like, how are you still speaking?
Yeah. The interesting thing is like the recovery like benefits that it has. So like
really? Inflammation and stuff.
Yeah, like the way so obviously if you smoke weed or you ingest marijuana, there's certain sort of strains and stuff that it can actually enhance like your recovery. So I think that's the argument for a lot of athletes, is that it can be used correctly as a natural recovery agent, you know what I mean? It can make us sort of and going back there saying how can it be performance enhancing, I'll probably just denounce my own point a bit, but to make it illegal is just the cons, like there's not there, do you know what I mean? Like
what they've done with her, this particular sprinter, I think they've banned her, but then it's reduced because she admitted to it or something, and then it's been reduced again. So anyway, she's got a 100-day ban, and the 100 days coincide with the Olympics, which is fucking...
The horrible thing is though, sprinting, especially track and field, they've got a serious issue with EPO and stuff.
I know,
what are you banning people for weed for? I mean, I know you've got to say, we've got to be strong across the board, but I've read books and there's loads of reading on it, and the amount of drugs that go on. Well, I mean, I guess you're doing drugs, you're only running in a straight line. But you're not hurting anyone. But different with combat.
Well, the thing that pissed a lot of people off is there's that New Zealand woman weightlifter who was, she was a man for 25 years in weightlifting competitions. She's now a woman and is going to compete now. Now you think she's had 25 years of male testosterone, and that's allowed, but then that girl having a spliff, it's not.
We've done podcasts, especially with Molly and stuff, and I'm all for like people living whatever way they want to live. But the one thing you can't argue with is science. Like, if you're born a male, you have certain components or compounds in your body that allow you to be stronger than a female.
Yeah.
In the the broad sense of the word. So you can then if you want to live your life as a female, that is fine. But you can't compete against females on a level playing field. It's 100%. It's just scientifically not possible. That is why, the UFC have the women's divisions, and boxing has women's divisions. If it didn't matter, then everyone would just fight everyone, wouldn't they? Yeah. Or footy, or that's exactly why male footy players don't go and sign for Liverpool women and become the best player in the world, because it's just this is not just to like say, women are worse than men, because they're not, especially in combat sports. And but you're two different specimens.
Well, what if Messi turns around when he retires and he has a sex change? Does he automatically become the best women's player? All these women who've tried so hard to become the best at this, they automatically now get knocked down a peg.
It's not about and that's the thing that you have to get across, isn't it? It's not about males being better than females or males being stronger than. It's just that
there needs to be separate categories.
because they're made up of separate things. You know what I mean? You can't. If you start like broadening the horizons, you can just like, for example, you could put somebody, you could put Usain Bolt or the equivalent in the Paralympics. Do you know what I mean? Because
exactly.
Where do you draw the line?
Fair, isn't it? Yeah. So I was a bit gutted when she's been banned anyway. Yeah, that's quite sad. On the Olympics, just again before we get into the two big things I want to touch upon is obviously our dragon symbol and McGregor.
Yeah, the boy.
I've seen a nice little story made. Jimenez is back in training with Wolves. After fractured skull, didn't he?
That.
So he's back in training, which is good. I wonder whether he's going to wear one of those head things next season.
Wonder if that'll ever, with like all the studies on concussion, I watch loads of rugby, but like you have your scrum cap and stuff. Wonder if that'll ever become in football, like headwear.
Imagine every player just wearing one.
Because in rugby, only certain players choose to wear them. But I know they're not designed to completely stop concussions. But wonder if there was like headwear made that would reduce concussion, whether it become a finger footy.
Is it like an insurance thing? Like Peter Cech always used to wear one, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he does. But I think when you hit a certain injury, you've got to. Like obviously, concussion's a big thing, isn't it? When it leads to like the CTE and stuff, which is again is a podcast in itself.
Yeah, we definitely should do something like that. We've I seen Chisora and Hay have split up as well.
How many managers and trainers has Derek Chisora had? I reckon 48. It's got to be up there.
Is he just known as a hard work, is he?
Lunatic. Like, you see, in his last fight with Parker, when he lost the coin toss for the ring walks, and he's got like a team of, like, I guess, like 10 mates who do all his walking around for him. He literally said, I'm not fighting, go and get all my gear out my room, I'm leaving. There's lads walking down with like perspex boxes of training gear, walking down, and David Hayes like stood in the corridor like, what are you doing? Did an interview with IFL TV and he's like, I can't stop him, he's saying he's leaving. They managed to stop him leaving, but because he lost the coin toss to walk, he had to walk to the ring first. He said he was leaving and he took all his gear down to the reception.
What a dickhead.
He said, well, I remember being in Vegas and he was walking around the lobby and people trying to shake his hand and he was just walking past. Like, it's one of them people, like, sometimes you see him in interviews, he's like the nicest fella ever, and then next time, like, Coogan, who does IFL, I think he's quite pally with him, and he was doing an interview with him once in a hotel room, and he just goes, get out. He's like, do you want me to leave? He's like, yeah, get out of my room. But he's like his mate, you know what I mean? He's just got to switch. But I reckon David Hayes probably got to the point where he's loaded, and he's like, I don't need this shit.
Be arsed with this, yeah, mate. Other thing on this Saturday is the return of Dragon symbol.
Yeah.
Shout out, not that he'll ever, I don't know, you might see this or not. O'Shea Murphy sent me a little message. I tagged him saying,
getting him on. Yeah. Trying to get him on.
Yeah. And he sent me a thumbs up or something saying, love that. But,
mate, this is it, innit? Redemption.
I'm excited, mate. I think he put up 4 or 5 wins together, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's obviously had 2 seconds. 2 times I've backed him, he's come fucking second.
Fucking won, still come second.
So that's 4, I think, Saturday.
Yeah, not sure on the time.
July
Cup. Like some race though, serious race.
Well, yeah, the 2 big favourites are in it, Oxted and Starman.
Yeah, he's a bit, like, I know we sort of got an affinity to him now, and he's like the podcast horse. Yeah. We love him. Just get the owners on. But he's the best horse, I'm telling you now, he's got to be. But, I'm not looking at any weather forecast.
Yeah, well, someone tweeted us, didn't he?
Saying
I can't remember the name, sorry, but yeah. Biblical. We need to get biblical trending. If it starts raining on Saturday, that's all I'm going to tweet.
I know. We are actually cursed if it rains this week.
In July, though.
Yeah. When could you pick 2 races, one in June, one in July, and both get torrential downpour?
Waterlogged. Madness.
But, I know he doesn't like... all the info that we get is that he's he's a good ground horse and all this stuff, but he's proved that he can do it. It's just that it makes it more of a level playing field with the other horses. I just want him to get the good ground so he can just go and fucking win.
Yeah, I will be rooting big time for Dragon symbol.
Been getting loads of videos and stuff of him like training. fucking boss. I mean,
he's a nice colour, isn't he?
Yeah, grey. It's grey silverish. Yeah, brilliant. Some like you know, we're talking about athletes. When you see them top horses, the ones at the very top of horse racing, they are genuine athletes. Ridiculous. They're so impressive.
Yeah.
It's like looking at, it's like a demigod, you know what I mean? Like, wow.
I think horses, going a bit deeper, I don't know, I think humans and horses have got like a proper, you know, through time, horses are unbelievable animals, aren't they?
They've always been alongside humans, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, going back to wars and stuff.
There's a charity called Horseback UK which looks after injured soldiers, because they say like horses can help with like,
really?
you know,
Yeah,
like recovery and stuff, you know, like with PTSD and things like that.
But they're brilliant. Like, I know my brother gets, you know, he's ground horses every day, but you know, he gets the he gets attached to certain horses, and you know, when you're looking after something every day, it'd be hard not to. But it's like Splasher, my dad's horse, now he's retired, he's gone on to have another life now, so he lives with like a family. They take him around the field and he's just jumping and, you know, kicking about and loving life.
That's boss, isn't it?
The people, the way they, you know, horse racing, you know, when you go to Grand National, you'll see it when people saying, you know, ban the horse racing or it's cruelty and all this stuff. Probably an argument for it, you know, for another day, but the way that people in horse racing love the horses is just like, you can't deny. You go on any course and you watch the lads and the girls who are leading them up, or the grooms or the drivers or anything like that, people who don't get no credit or any headlines, the way they love them horses, mate. No one could look at that and deny.
No, it's amazing, I know. Yeah, so mate, I'm excited. Yeah, Dragon Symbol.
Let's do it, man. The redemption. Hopefully we just sit here next week, got a Dragon t-shirt on.
Be fucking ringing Switzerland, transferring money. Offshore bank accounts getting opened.
Be buying Dragon Symbols. It comes in this week.
I might get honestly, if this wins, I'm getting a fucking poster up and put up in here.
Aren't we?
So fingers crossed. Hopefully he's been on it for a few weeks and got a decent price for him.
Get Oshie Murphy on. Go over the win.
That'd be great, that.
We'll do a race breakdown with him. What was you thinking here?
So yeah, Dragon Symbol, and then last thing to touch on, I think, is the big one.
The UFC.
Return of the Mac.
The man, the king is back.
Been watching loads. Obviously, we had Nick Pete on. If you haven't saw that podcast, I'd go and watch that because it was brilliant. I've watched it back a couple of times now, actually, just because I think Nick's great.
Yeah, he's been putting. Obviously, he's part of the BT Sport team. Their content they put out this week so far has been incredible. So
I mean, it's like yourself, mate. You're both so knowledgeable on it. I find it fascinating speaking to both you and him about it. And I think McGregor in himself, that's a podcast on its own, isn't it? Yeah. You know, he's such a fascinating character. And I'm so, like, McGregor was the one I've said before, got me into MMA. Again, this weekend, it's just all about the McGregor show, which is it's a bit disrespectful to Poirier, but I'm just so invested in McGregor, and I'm just so fascinated by his journey.
Nick has a great saying, doesn't he? He said on the podcast, we're in the Conor McGregor business. It's so true. Like, he runs the game, and he's still running the game despite the fact he lost. The interesting thing for me is now the circus is back with him. You know, it's not the, you know, taking his family into the hotel and quarantining and all that. He's back in Vegas. Fans are everywhere. Yeah, he's going to have the public, like the press conference where he can actually get after Dustin Poirier. He's going to be like, you know, he's been doing in social media already. See him posting them screenshots of Poirier's wife. So, what's he done? So he made a video saying like, Pierre, I'm coming to get you. The way he calls him Pierre, but and then he put screenshots up. That looks like Poirier's wife's like being on the DMs on Instagram. But I'm
saying what?
There's no words on it, just a name and stuff, but like, you know,
like a message request.
Yeah, just like an insinuation. But like, whether he's like, you know, made it up or whatever, but it's still what.
It's got in his head though.
That's what I mean. It's back. He's back doing that shit. You know what I mean?
Imagine that thing where, you know, it starts trending. He starts getting tagged and stuff. He looks on his phone and he just looks at his missus and he's like, "Have you actually messaged it?"
Yeah, it's nuts.
I haven't, babe. It's be horrible that.
But it's like, it's going to be so interesting, especially if they start coming to head now, back end of the week. Because the last time he was so nice and he was like, give me some of your sauce and you're the top man. Whether like it's believable, you know, he starts getting after him, and he's a master salesman, isn't he? So I've got no doubt it will be. But it's like, if he runs into the press conference and he's giving it loads, it's like whether the fans are going to get carried away with it or they're going to be like, hang on a minute. No, that's not.
Well, he's got to win. I think, well, you've already said it again, probably going over stuff we spoke with Nick, but he's won one win in the last 5 years.
Bad. You think about like when he...
Which is crazy to think that we're still speaking about it in this way.
In 2016, when he beat like Eddie Alvarez and stuff, and then if you'd have said then, he'll have one win in the next 5 years, it's just madness. Like, obviously, I know he went to do the box and stuff. That was his biggest payday, I'm sure, but sort of he's paid with it with his MMA career at this point, do you know what I mean? Like, You know, when he went in to fight Khabib, he was nowhere near fit enough. You know, he's drinking whiskey at the thing, and going, you know, he was just on a mad one. You know, so he come back, Cerrone beat him up, and Poirier chinned him. I think the best thing about this weekend is there's questions, isn't he? It's like, is McGregor done?
Yeah.
Because if he comes out and gets chinned again, there's not, like, yes, he's gonna, you know, he'll go and fight Diaz and Masvidal and all these people, but like the aura's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I still think the aura will have gone, yeah, but I mean, it'll always still be the McGregor thing, but it's like you're saying that people get a little bit bored of this.
The flip side though, if he comes out and batters Poirier,
well, it's back to being...
he grabs the mic, says like, I'm fucking back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the game is then in the palm of his hand again.
Did you see the thing Dana White posted on his Instagram about how Vegas changes? I mean, we've been in Vegas when there's a big fight on. It's like a little 2 or 3 minute video on Dana White's Instagram talking about, and it's got like business owners, hotel owners, talking about, you know, what a McGregor fight does to Vegas and the money it generates, and like, you know, a suite that might be $10,000 is now $20,000.
Yeah.
You know, the airport are ringing up all the wealthy clients saying, if you're coming in this weekend, you need to book now because it's going to be a busy weekend. You know, you need to get your flight sorted. What McGregor does to that city is phenomenal.
It's ridiculous, but it's like, it's one of them, like, if you're involved in MMA, you need McGregor to win because there's no one else like McGregor. You know, there's a lad on the, you know, we got these rising stars coming through, obviously. And the lad on the card, actually, Sean O'Malley, who's like, you know, he's getting a bit of hype behind him in terms of being like the next pay-per-view star and all this stuff. But no one does it like him. And like, if that falls off, it doesn't just impact the UFC lightweight rankings, it does all that stuff, do you know what I mean? There's no more big Conor McGregor pay-per-view weekends. Well, maybe there will be, but not at this level, do you know what I mean?
No.
And then the stakes couldn't be higher because then, as we say, if he wins his next fight after this, if he goes fight Oliveira for the belt, mate, Vegas will never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Because as the comeback's always better than the first go, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's it. He wins this, they've got the title shot, and then he's got another with Diaz for the trilogy.
Exactly, yeah.
He's got the Masvidal fight potentially.
Could go up again to welterweight and, like, you know, fight. I wouldn't advise it, but go and fight Usman, or, you know, even with Oliveira, there's still some great fights in the lightweight division. You know, you go back home to Ireland, sell that out again. It's just, it's like, it's the second coming, isn't it? And I'm a firm believer in, yes, the first run was good, but when you then overcome adversity, it's better.
Oh yeah.
The story's better, you know.
In every walk of life, mate,
your opponent starts to think he can beat you, so he's better. Just takes it up. But again, you know, it's you know, everyone's pretty much looking over Dustin Poirier because it's the Conor McGregor show, but chinned him once.
How do you think it'll go?
To be honest,
the expert Jord, come on lads, don't let me down.
I was been looking all week and I've constantly been watching loads of the old fights and stuff, and I can't back either of them outright because there's just like, there's too much going on. Because, for example, as I said, the circus, Poirier could be like rabbit in the headlights. I don't expect him to be, but he could be like, this wasn't like this last time. Do you know what I mean? And how does McGregor get in his head? Or on the flip side, does it not work? And Dustin Poirier just walks through and just chins him. You know, done it once, do it again. It's too hard, but, you know, I think McGregor's got to get it done early. Got to. Like, once we start getting to 3 and 4, if we get that far, you've got to fancy Poirier because, you know, he's the more durable. He's you know, probably got a better gas tank. He still carries his power late, and he's been active. His last 5 years compared to Conor McGregor's last 5 years, you can't even compare them.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that ring time, it matters. Do you know what I mean? Or the octagon time, it matters. So, you know, you can't just sit there and be like, sort of, I reckon on the both best days, I think McGregor wins every time, but it's whether you get that best day again. But yeah, I think McGregor early, Poirier late, but I think Poirier might come out and try and throw him on his back. Do you know what I mean? Just get on top of him, wear him out, and then try and take him out late.
The tactics are going to be fascinating, aren't they?
Ridiculous. Look at the leg kicks last time, won it. Does Poirier go again and attack that leg, or will McGregor attack legs? Or imagine McGregor come out and put Poirier down on his backside. Do you know what I mean? It's like so many ways it can go. But yeah, I think in my heart of hearts, I think Poirier will come out, get hold of him, try and put him on his back, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Poirier was like, right, I'll just lie on him for 2 rounds, and then 3, 4, 5, I'll try and take him out. So, you know, I think the bet I haven't really got a bet yet for this fight. I'm sure I will, but, you know, with me theory there of that, the over 2.5 maybe, but it's hard betting over 2.5 against Conor McGregor because he can just.
Well, that's my bet for this weekend is him to finish it in the first or second.
Yeah, because he's got the lights out punch, hasn't he?
Yeah, you're getting 2-1 for that. That's my tip, and again, I'm like no confidence whatsoever in it, but it's more of an interest bet as well. You know, I think you're getting good value for that because if, like you say, he does turn up, and it's a lot of ifs, but if he is the Conor McGregor that we all, you know, think he can be, like the second coming, if you like, then yeah, he can easily put that to bed in the first 30 seconds.
Because in the first round of the first fight, he was catching Poirier, but he was not like, he just weren't following up on it. I don't know if, you know, the legs were hurting from the very start, but like he has got the ability to shut the lights off, which is the problem, but him backing against them. So, you know, people are going to want, you know, it's a huge betting weekend, but it's a 50-50. So, you know.
I'm going to do a couple of mad accumulators of, like, you know, proper cross sports, bit of Wimbledon, bit of UFC, bit of Dragon Symbol, Copa America, Euros.
I just can't wait to hear the arm. No, you know, proper with the fans, and then
he's so good, isn't he?
And hopefully does the Billy walk and stuff with all the smoke. Just
the only thing, right, mate? You know, the only thing I think he will win. I hope he does win. But the only thing which makes me doubt it a little bit is, again, what we spoke about with Nick, is that the Marvin Hagler shout. You know, it's hard to get up and go training when you're sleeping in silk sheets. I know for myself, right, if someone said to me, it wouldn't even need to be a lot of money, you know, guaranteed X amount of money per month, you can just do what the fuck you want. Mate, would I be training every day? Would I be wanting to get punched in the face? No.
And it's the dad thing, isn't it? Like, you know, for us normal folk, when the kids say, "Oh, Dad, can you come and play with me, or can you come and do this?" Or, and you say, "Oh, do you know what? I've got to go to work." But he doesn't have to go to work.
No.
So, you know, he could have, right, Conor does a 6 a.m. run there, and then his lad comes in and goes, "Dad, you want? I'm going to sit with my kid for a bit," because you know how many times.
And who do you knock? You can't knock him.
No,
because
I'd do the exact same thing. But yeah, that's it. I just think Poirier's just a bit hungrier. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's hit his, like, financial peak, definitely. And he's just, I don't know, he's just one of them people, you know. I feel like he's still maybe reaching his pinnacle, where, you know, is McGregor on the way down. But I tell you now, if he chinned him in one, I wouldn't be surprised, because he's done it before.
It's going to be fascinating.
But the card's great.
Yeah.
You know, you got Wonderboy and Gilbert Burns in the co-main, which is a brilliant fight. You know, jiu-jitsu master against, you know, probably the best kickboxer you're going to see. Wonderboy's like 38 now, but
just seeing Wonderboy in an interview just saying that he's just going to try and keep him standing.
He's brilliant at it. I mean, fought Till, didn't he? And went really close with him. But yeah, his last two performances are Vicente Luque and his last one, and it's going to get away from me the name, but his last two performances have been brilliant. And obviously Gilbert Burns is coming off getting stopped by the champ Usman, so that's an intriguing one. Then my bet actually is the heavyweight on the card, Tai Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy. No, you seen Greg Hardy? He was an NFL player.
Really?
Yeah, like at the top as well. And he got kicked out of his team. He had always done all mad shit. He's like put hands on his wife, and then was like doing drugs, got caught with cocaine, all this stuff. Took MMA up, and now he's in the UFC.
Wow.
But he's fighting a guy called Tai Tuivasa, who's nuts, like not fit, fat, but can bang. Just a proper all-round nice guy though. You'd love a night out with him. Well, I just think these two, it's just power personified and very little defense. So I think the under 1.5 there is 6-4. So I'm going to have a go at that for me tip. I just don't see how they get out the first round. If they do, they're going to end up just lying on each other. Like, fucking hell, mate. Just chin me, would you? But yeah, I think Tai Tuivasa might come through. Obviously I wouldn't back him sort of outright because the heavyweights, but yeah, I think under 1.5 there. And then you've got Ryan Hall, who we spoke to Molly about, fighting Toy Porter. Ryan Hall's an enigma. Looks not unlike what you'd expect an MMA fighter to look like. He's got a couple of like personality things. I don't want to actually put this on him. I think he's got Asperger's or autism, or, you know, he's on the spectrum, and but he's just a jiu-jitsu master. Wrap anybody up. I think his submission at 8-1. But, you know, he's been inactive for a while. He's fighting Toy Porter, who's a lad who's really, there's a lot of hype behind him. He's got knockout power. He can grapple as well himself, so that's an interesting one, because I wouldn't put it past Ryan Hall to upset him, but then I also wouldn't put it past Poirier to go in there and smash him to bits. You know what I mean? But
such a good card, that then, isn't it?
Brilliant, mate. And then obviously, last but not least, Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's like the he picked up at the feet a couple of fights ago, but he's the one that like they're coming up as the next pay-per-view star. So he's on the main card as well. He's got like his hair dyed all different colours, and like he's boss striker, knocks people out cold, got loads of personality and stuff like that. So just a boss card. Is
McGregor Poirier the main fight?
Yeah, main event, yeah. Obviously, you wouldn't get McGregor just being anyone.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it not being a title fight.
No, so it's just still. To be honest, Poirier turned down the title shot for this, didn't he? He was next in line for Oliveira, and he was like, "No, I want to fight McGregor.
I want the fucking payday.
Get me dough, and then I'll go and get the belt." But yeah, and then boss card. Honest to God, I mean, if you've never watched UFC before, or you know you flit it in and out, just watch this card. Watch McGregor, watch Poirier, watch it all the way through it. You'll love it.
Oh, I can't wait for it. Anything else before we wrap up?
Got a little bit of boxing on. Obviously playing second fiddle. It's at the Albert Hall in London. Lyndon. He's fighting a guy from Italy. So yeah, that's it. You know, it's a routine win for Lyndon really, coming off the back of fighting Anthony Yard and beating him. So yeah, I think he's just looking to get back in there. I think he'll put him away pretty soon. Then you got a couple of people on the undercard. You got Zach Parker, he's in that little group who might fight Canelo. No, he's not a big personality, but he's number one with the WBO at super middleweight. So, you know, he's waiting for the Canelo call if that ever comes. He's fighting a guy from Uzbekistan who's like 42, but he's undefeated.
Yeah, who's he been fighting?
Yeah, it's like exactly who has he been fighting, but yeah, he's like 42. I think he's I think he might have a few losses on his record. But anyway, he's coming over with a bit of ambition still at 42. But I fancy Zach Parker to get a bit of a, do a bit of a job on him as well. I think he's about 11-10 for the KO. Wouldn't put anyone off that. But yeah, it's a bit of a quiet card really on BT Sport, but something you want to, you watch. And I reckon there'd be a bit of value. Them cards always pop up a bit of value, later on in the week. And most people aren't watching. They're having the wins on them. So, obviously I'll put them out on Instagram and that as always. And win a bit of money this weekend, hopefully, with Dragon Symbol.
Mate, there's going to be a party in here next week.
We might be as rich as Tom McKitten by the end of the weekend. They are the real winners from the Euros, I tell you now. You haven't seen them for like 15 years. Everywhere. Live gigs.
Agent's phone won't stop ringing now.
Imagine them, they're like...
How did that come about?
So they sing that song, don't they?
You Can Make Me Whole Again.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But then obviously they've changed
Maybe You're the One, isn't it?
Yeah, so they changed it to Southgate, or Footy's Coming Home Again, or whatever. And they got the call, and they're just there on the stage saying, don't call it a comeback.
They were on Peter Crouch's show, weren't they?
Been everywhere. Do you know what? I think, I'm not even joking here, I think they were doing like the Mecha Bingo sort of circuit a couple of years ago. I'm telling you now. And now they're on front and centre ITV.
What a line.
And they've changed the words. There's so much they've sold out. They've changed the words. Southgate's coming home again, or whatever it is.
What a line.
Southgate, you're the one.
That's Tom McKitten and the real winners.
The army, I'm telling you now. New album coming soon.
Brilliant. They were boss Tom McKitten, mate. I used to love them.
As in I loved them?
The no, as in like they were just bossed and pervert when I was a kid.
You being the Asden as a kid, like that, the album.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's still looking alright, to be fair.
I wasn't aware of how much of a comeback they were making, so that's my next thing, to be just YouTube.
I don't know if it's just me then.
Yeah, I think it might be just you.
The algorithm on Twitter just got me, because I can't scroll anywhere without seeing it. No, I hate England, so just look at me with videos.
What's on with
Boss, but yeah, what a weekend.
Boss, well, hope you enjoyed this. A nice one again. Me and Jordan have had a few messages as well of people enjoying the Sportcast. It's becoming a bit of a Friday morning ritual for a lot of people on the way to work and etc. So the support and messages are much appreciated. As always, Jordan, a pleasure.
Love it.
Big thanks again, Monterex again. 15% off. Link is in the bio. Social Scousers for all your social media needs. And see you next week.